Guys, and welcome to Lockdown Boredom Busters. 3 simple ways to help your hounds during lockdown. My name's Tam Wilson and I have Bournemouth Pet Care based in Dipton, and I cover Burnett Field, Stanley and surrounding areas. So it's a bit of a horrible time. Everything has been kind of turned upside down. I am all out of routine, my daughter's all out of routine. The dogs are definitely all out of routine, but I've been doing some things at home which hopefully keeps them busy. I mean, those of you who know me, you know I've got older girls anyway, so they don't need quite as much exercise as youngsters out there. But Taryn especially, she's the one struggling because she's the youngest and fittest, while the other two are not so bad. So I've been doing these things at home with them every day. I've been getting Thea involved as well. And we've been so far managing to knock the boredom on the head and keep them from going insane. So my hashtags that I've been using for the past 2 weeks are stay home and train and stay safe and stay sane, because I would like to come out of this with a shred of sanity, which I'm sure everybody else will as well. So I'm going to talk about 3 things that you can do with your dog. It's really simple. It's probably stuff that people are doing anyway, but it's always good to add something new in, just in case it's something you haven't done before. And hopefully it gives you something to focus on as well. I know some of you are still working from home, but some of you may be not working and trying to fill your day. And a good way to fill your day is bonding with your dog, doing lots of training and stuff. So let's see what we're going to talk about. Come on, slide, move. Now, why aren't you moving? So, haha. Oh dear me. Of course, when this is live, it will all go wrong. Okay, so what is this webinar about and what will we learn? We'll learn about how mental activity can tire out your dog and help him with his boredom, behaviour and training. How doing these things will not only help with his training and behaviour in the outside world, but will strengthen the bond between you and help you reconnect. A lot of people with busy lives, they can get a little bit disconnected from their dog. I mean, they care for them, they feed them, they walk them and what have you, but modern life can really get in the way. It did with my girls, and I think they've really loved having me at home doing these things with them, and it seems to make them a bit happier. We'll also talk about how dogs love routine and how in these crazy times we can help protect their mental health and bring stability to their days. So what 3 things are we going to talk about today? We're going to talk about enrichment feeding, garden and house games, and some simple tricks. Now, for those of you that are already in my world, you know, these are all the things that I talk about all the time anyway. They're really important to your dog's daily life, whatever's happening on the outside world. So let's get started. How do we feed our dogs and why is it important? It took me a long time to kind of start thinking outside of the bowl. For a long time, I fed my dogs, just put the food in the bowl, put the bowl down, they would eat it, and then they would disappear. And until I started learning more about dog training, and I realised that it's an absolutely wasted opportunity. You know, especially if you feed kibble and things, because you've got like hundreds of opportunities for training using bits of kibble. Dogs naturally are scavengers and love to look for food and, you know, snuffling around for it and getting it delivered in the same way every day, i.e. in the bowl, is a bit of a waste. So instead we can use things like Kongs, snuffle mats, treat balls, licky mats, etc. And you can also take food out with you on their daily walk. So take it out of their food rations to use while you do your training on the outside world as well. So that way your dog isn't having extra treats as well, which could lead to obesity, which is not what we want at the moment. We've got to be really careful what we're feeding our dogs so they don't get fat. I know I got you guys some licky mats for Christmas, but the ones I want to look at today are Kongs, scatter feeding and snuffle mats. The mighty Kong. I'm a massive fan of Kongs. I think they're a brilliant invention. I bow down to the god of Kongs because my dogs absolutely love their Kongs. They at the moment they're getting at least 1 meal a day out of their Kongs, and it tires them out. They get the breakfast out of their Kongs, and before we've even gone outside and done walks or whatever, they go back to sleep after their breakfast because they've had to work for it. So you can stuff the Kongs, and Kongs come in different colours for different chewers. So you've got the black Kong is for extreme chewers. So that is for dogs who are likely to destroy any toys that they get. Be aware that black Kongs are still not completely indestructible. My brother has a cross German Shepherd Labrador, and she has chewed her way through the black Kong I gave him. So they're not completely indestructible. So if you do have a strong chewer, you still need to keep an eye on your dogs when they've got the Kongs, just to make sure they're not chewing through it and biting bits off and stuff. You've got the red classic Kongs. That's the ones my girls have. We do have a black Kong as well, but the collies use Brenna and Bray use the red Kong, and that's just your classic Kong for your average chewer. You also have, that is not pictured here, the puppy Kongs. I know you guys who are watching, if you've come to me from being puppy clients, I give you the blue. When I first started looking after your puppies, I would have given you a blue or a pink baby Kong, which is for puppies. Once they get their bigger teeth, those things don't last 2 minutes. So again, you've got to watch for dogs chewing those bits. And apparently, which I have never seen before, but I should probably look into for Brenna, you can get a purple Kong, which is for senior chewers, for older dogs, for easier on their teeth. So, like I said, they come in different sizes as well for different dogs, for different sized dogs. And if you've never used a Kong before, you really want to start off easy, because you want to make sure the dog can succeed at getting the food out the Kong. If you make it too hard too soon, they'll just give up on it and walk away, and they'll not be interested in it. So you need to start off really easy by putting in some of their regular food, and plus a few sort of really tasty nibbles in there as well. A few bits of chopped up hot dogs, cheese, chicken, pasta or whatever, so that the dog is quite interested in it. You don't kind of stuff the ends, so that when the dog does move the Kong around, the bits fall out and he gets an instant reward from moving the Kong. And that way he figures that it is a good thing to play with and a good thing to chew on, because it dispenses treats. So you want to make it easy, and then start off easy, and then progress as your dog gets a master at getting the food out of the Kong. So you can use things like squirted cheese. You can use different pastes and stuff, peanut butter, but make sure it's not a one with loads of salt and sugar in. You know, I use the whole earth one for my dogs and for Thea, not at the same time. I don't make a share with the dogs. And you can plug the ends, so you kind of fill them up and then you plug both ends. They've got a hole at the top and a hole at the bottom, and the small hole at the top you can plug with something to get them licking at that end, and then you plug the bottom to stop all the treats falling out straight away once they have mastered the Kong. In the summer as well, guys, these are really good for freezing and for making it more difficult. Natural yogurt and pureed fruit is really good, so that it's like an ice cream for them. Get them frozen and get them having the Kong in summer. It really kind of takes them a while to get them out, and it cools them down. Good for puppy teething as well. Good for their little gums. Like I say, I love Kongs. They're amazing. Sorry, I'm just having a drink of water, guys. Right, scatter feeding. Now, some people aren't a fan of scatter feeding because they think it does encourage the dog to eat up crap from the grass. But if you teach a good leave it shouldn't be too much of a problem. But obviously for some dogs that can be too tempting. Like Brenna is terrible for scavenging stuff out the grass, and that was long before I started scatter feeding with Brenna. She's just one of those dogs that likes to eat whatever she can find. It's really simple. You simply use handfuls of your dog's usual food, throw it around the house, garden, or even on walks. It engages the dog's nose, which uses a lot of mental energy. It makes breakfast and tea fun. My lot do this. They like a good scatter feed. I've been doing it on the grass outside mine because I've got a postage stamp size garden. It's absolutely tiny. I've been using the grass that's just outside of my house, and the dogs love it. But unfortunately, I also put the guinea pigs on that grass, so they find guinea pig poop as well. That's just dogs being disgusting. And mostly they do leave it if I ask, but like I say, Brenna, she is a little hoover and she would hoover up anything. If you are using it around the garden, just be sure to pick up any bits that they haven't eaten or haven't found, stop it to go mouldy, which can be a problem if the dogs do eat it in the future. And obviously you don't want to attract rats and things to the garden, so make sure you pick up anything that they haven't eaten. But yeah, the dogs love the scatter feeding just because it engages the nose so much. Snuffle mat. Okay, so this is the same principle as scatter feeding, but the food is hidden within the mat. They're really easy to make if you're crafty. I'm not. I did not make my snuffle mat. A friend of mine did. My dog loved theirs, but you probably need more than one if you have a multi-dog household. There's just not enough room to put enough food in for both of them. That's fine for treats and stuff, but you'd struggle to get a whole meal in there for them. Plus, if you've got dogs that aren't good at sharing as well, you know, if they are a bit resource guardy, like Taryn, the one in the blue collar, she can be a bit of a tinker with resource garden. But that's a whole other story, that one. I'm not sure if you can wash Snuffle mat. I can't wash this one because it would just fall apart. It's just a handmade one. It's just bits of felt sort of plugged into like a webbed bottom. But if you buy them online, they are possibly a bit more hardy and you can possibly put them in the washing machine. I just have to kind of hand wash mine as best I can. You know, I just have to make do. It will probably just fall to pieces if I put it in the washing machine. Okay, so that was just a quick rundown of enrichment feeding. If you've got any questions on that, guys, just type them up so you don't forget them, and we'll get them to the end. I mean, the way you feed your dog is really, like I say, it's a really underused way of bringing enrichment to your dog's day, not just when we're in lockdown, but in general. I know when life gets busy and you're heading out for work on a morning, you sometimes don't have time to make, you know, watch them with their Kong or whatever, because you just want to be out the door and make sure that your dogs are safe and where they need to be when you go out. But on an evening, definitely when you've got more time, it's definitely something you should think about doing every day. Like, see, my girls have had their Kongs every day in lockdown, and it really tires them out. It's great. I have to try and make it harder. Like, I started having to freeze them the night before to make it harder for them to get the food out, because they're such experts now that the Kongs are finished within sort of 5 or 10 minutes. But like I say, they do sleep afterwards, which is always a bonus when we're all stuck in the house together. So let's have a look at garden and house games. Let's see what time we are. So there's 3 simple games for your dog. The check-in, which is great for loose lead walking. The game of 2 toys, great for dogs who don't like to give up their toys. And hide and seek toy, great nose work and fun to do. The check-in. So if anybody has been in my lockdown group, my Boredom Busters lockdown group, I have done the check-in this weekend on videos. My dogs are so good at it though, so that they were rubbish demonstrating, because as soon as they knew I had food with me, they gave me the undivided attention anyway, so I couldn't really demonstrate it very well. But the whole principle behind it is, you know, make sure you've got something tasty with you. Take your dog outside on the lead, and every time your dog pulls slightly or is distracted by the smells and the sounds and the sights of the outside, just stand still and don't speak. And then when your dog looks at you, smile, be happy, and reward, and repeat. And that's basically it. It's so simple, but what it does is teaches your dog that you are an excellent person to check in with, because when they do check in with you, they get something super tasty to eat. Obviously, it's harder where you go places which are got bigger distractions, so it's really good to practice this where there are very few distractions, so that you can get quite a good solid check-in. And once the dog looks at you reliably, when you stop, you can start adding a cue word into it, sort of like watch me or watch or something like that, so that when you are out and there are distractions, you can see the word, the dog should look at you, your reward, and the distraction can pass by. Obviously, if your dog cannot resist the distraction close up, then you know you're over the threshold. Then you need to go away from the distraction and practice that at a distance. but just for fun when you're stuck indoors and with not as much to do, it's a good one. It's a good one to practice. Like I say, I tried to practice this with my girls for the camera, but as soon as they knew I had tasty food, they just had the best sort of heel work I've ever seen. I didn't think they were that well trained. Okay, let's move on. A game of two toys. Now this is a favourite of mine with a cockapoo, little Zach, who I walk, who's not so little anymore. He is a bugger for not wanting to give up the ball when we're out on walks, so I have to take two balls. They're identical apart from the colour, but dogs don't care about the colour, but they're the same kind of weight and feel. So you just need two identical toys, and you have the dog on the lead if they are likely to run off with the toy, because some dogs, once they get a toy, will not come anywhere near you for fear of losing it. So if your dog is a toy hoarder, pop them on a lead. Brenna, sorry, I don't know if you heard that. It's Brenna demanding, because she knows I've got bits of chopped up hot dog to do the training with Brie. Brenna was upstairs and she has joined me. So yes, so keep them on the lead if they're going to be a bit of a tinker with running off with the toy. So you get the first toy and you make it super interesting. So make it move, sort of drag it along the floor. Like the tuggies are really good for that, sort of making them come alive, as it were. And when your dog's interested in that, you throw the first toy, and when they pick the toy up, you then make the second toy interesting. Again, making it sort of come alive, making it more interesting, having like a really high squeaky voice, which is harder for you guys out there, but it really does work. And the dog will eventually drop the first toy and want to go and play with the second toy. Occasionally you will get dogs that try and put two toys in their mouth at the same time, but even Zach, I can get him to drop the first ball and go for the second ball just by sort of bouncing it and making it really interesting, and eventually he does drop the first ball and then I can throw the second one. But that's it basically. You can do this just in the house as well, even if you're sitting on the sofa. Just throw one toy away, dog comes back and plays with it, do the second one, repeat. It's a really good thing for getting dogs who are a bit hoardy with their toys, and it's good for recall training as well, because you are the one who's always got a fun toy with you, no matter, even if that dog has a super duper toy, you've got the exact same one, which is another opportunity for fun. Like the whole idea is to be your dog's fun center. You need to be the best thing in the universe. You know, you need to be better than the squirrels, better than the other dogs, better than the cyclists, better than the deer, blah 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 blah. You need to be the thing that your dog wants to come back to. So that's a super easy one, but it's really effective. Hide and seek toys. Again, it's fun and easy. You simply play with your dog's favorite toy, and then you go and hide it in a different room or in the garden while he waits and he can't see. It's good if you've got gates and doors to close, so you can go and hide it. Or if you're a bit more open plan, you can have somebody hold your dog while you go and hide it somewhere and sort of distract them. And then basically you just let the dog go and find the toy, and you can put like a find it command to it when they're searching, and that way you can always tell them to find it if you're out with the toys and stuff. Same with food, and it's tiring and fun for about 20 minutes or so. It's really super simple games that sometimes are so overlooked by people with their dogs. You know, they are more concentrating on taking the dog out for long walks, and you know, they think hiking for 4 hours is the best way to enrich their dog's life. And don't get me wrong, I love it. I give me a mountain to hike up any day, and my dogs love it as well, or they did when they were a bit younger and fitter. But you can't do that every day with them to tire them out. You need to also work their brain as well as their body. They need good mental fitness as well as physical fitness. You need kind of the both of them to fit together to have a well-balanced dog. Obviously during the lockdown that is not as easy because we're only allowed out once a day, but during these times you can fill your dog's day with these things, and they're really fun. And see, my dogs love these. The only problem is if you do have like a multi-dog household, it's hard to do this with multi-dogs. Sometimes you have to put one away and focus on the other. My girls have to go in the kitchen when I'm doing one in the living room, or I leave them in the house while I take one outside. So and that way they're getting individual one-to-one time with you as well, which is really important in a multi-dog household. You know, you kind of have to make time for each and every one of them. Like I say before, modern life kind of gets in the way of that. It can make it more difficult to give your dogs the individual time that they need, but it's so important. Like I was guilty of not giving my dogs one-to-one time, but now Brenna's to the point where she can't go on a walk with the other girls. She gets her individual time first, and then the girls can have their individual time. You know, the collies get their individual time after, and it makes such a difference to them. Okay, let's go next. Right, this is where I try and figure out how to put my camera on so you can see me looking very relaxed in my comfy clothes, and see if Bray is gonna help. Because this time of night we usually don't do very much. It's a very chilled evening, and she usually just lies down, which is why I've got the hot dogs out, because I thought if it's something super tasty, she's going to be more willing to work for me rather than just standing looking at me. I'm going to have to put Brenna away as well, because she won't let me do this with Bray. So the 3 tricks that we are going to talk about are wiping the dog's feet, the dog wiping their own feet, middle and hand touch. So some of you out there probably do these things already. This is a picture of my beautiful Bray doing feet up onto Thea's little step, and a few short sessions a day to tire your dog out would really make a big difference, and anyone can do them. So white feet, here's a picture of Bray doing a foot wipe earlier. It's a really fun trick to do. I haven't figured out how to make her do a second back feet yet, and she mostly just does one front foot, but it's quite fun. It's quite fun watching her. So you just need some treats in the mat. You put the treat under the mat, let the dog sniff out the treat, and reward every time the dog's paws at the mat. Now Bray cheats at this, or she did cheat when I first started doing it, by just sticking her nose under the mat. So I had to kind of hold the mat down so she didn't just stick her nose under. But once she got it, she knew what she was doing. So let me figure out how to push my camera on. Right. Hi guys. Can you see me? Right. Can you see me okay? How do I make it? Oh. I did this before, but obviously I didn't have people on with me. Oh, I might have to just. I'm assuming at home that you guys can see this full screen anyway. This probably just looks really tiny on my thing. Right, 1 second, guys. Keep this off. Right, Renette, come on, puppy, come out here. Hey. So we have my old mat, which I don't mind the dogs destroying. Come here, Bray. I would love some proper equipment to do this, but my laptop is what we're working with. So we're not doing dead, Bray. Come on, up. There, yeah. So because we've done this, me and Bray have done this a lot, I don't need to put the treat underneath. We've progressed where I can just point and she wipes her feet, and my next the next thing I will do is I will put a cue word to it. So I'll say wipe your feet, and she'll wipe her feet on cue, and say she'll do it again. So once you have gone from putting the treat under the mat to putting it on top, feed on the mat, because the dogs will know that that's where the reward comes from. And obviously your timing is everything. One more time. Yeah. Oh, she's so clever. Oh. She's like, oh, we're working, are we? She says, hang on, I'm ready to do some more stuff for hot dogs. So I really like that one. But my next stage as well, after I've gotten her to wipe her front feet on cue, would be to work on her back feet. But that takes sort of back feet awareness training as well, which is a bit more advanced. So, oh, come on. Come on, slide. Ray's decided to start woofing at me because I am no longer giving her any treats. Why aren't my slides moving? 1 second. Put my video off and see if I can make this work. Ah, yes, there we go. Right, middle. Now this is my friend Anna with her German Shepherd. I couldn't get a really decent picture that wasn't slightly blurry of me and Bray doing middle. Put the video back on so we can watch this. So you want something higher value because you want to lure your dog around your legs. Taryn started looking now because I'm doing stuff in here. She knows I'm training Bray and she's demanding to come in. You can put treats in both hands because you're going to need one to reward as they come round your leg and one to reward when their little face pops between your legs. And you can feed in position, so I'll show you this one as well. This is really easy. She says, Bray is probably going to get it wrong. Ready, Bray? Just lure around the legs and then feed. And then with the other hand. Yeah. And then there you go. So that's how you start. So you want to have plenty of treats to hand. I'll just pop some others in there. Come here, Brizzy. Ready? And then you feed from both sides. So, oh, sorry, Brizzy. So she stays. So she stays in the middle. Yeah. Good girl. Yeah. Down the line on both sides. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Come on then. Yeah, girl. Oh, so I like that one. Quite fun. And I mean, you can, once you've nailed it, you can do all sorts of fun stuff with middle. Right. See if my slide will move when I'm on the camera again. No, I think I have to come off camera to make my slide move. Okay. Oh, it's just being slow. I didn't have this problem earlier when I did a dry run of this webinar. Of course, because I'm live and recording, it isn't working. Come on, slidey slide. Oh, probably doesn't help that my laptop is coming up 7 years old and it's well used. It seems to be running very slow. Don't tell me we're going to be stuck on middle. Right, bear with me, guys. Try and sort out the technical difficulties here. Aha, yes. There we go, hand touch. This is my friend Charlotte with her dog. She is a dog trainer in Durham. And these are really easy to do anywhere. Have a fairly high value treat in your hand before you start, so your hand stinks of treats. Have your empty hand ready and let your dog explore the hand. And reward as soon as your dog's nose touches your hand. So reward from the other hand and then just repeat. Lorraine, I know you're on here, and I did this for Sky and Storm a lot. They were really good at their hand touches. But this can be, once you've nailed it, you can go on to teach them to like shut doors and all sorts with this. Or there's another fun game where you get them to pick colours, and you do like a bullseye, and you can get them to touch, like if you ask them for different colours, or you have like different colour stickers on the wall and stuff. It's really fun. Again, it's just sort of like, it's just fun brain stuff. Okay, let's put my ugly mug back on again. Okay, it's pretty good at touch. We've practiced this a lot, haven't we, really? Treats, your hands touch. Yes. Touch. Yes. Touch. Yes. So you can build up duration as well, because at the minute she knows to touch and get a treat, but you can. That's some of the treats then. Put it behind your hands. Yes. And build up duration. So she touched it for an extra couple of minutes there, a couple of seconds there. Yes. Good girl. Good girl. Clever girl. So like I say, that's a really fun one to teach like closing doors and stuff. Right, I will get rid of my ugly mug again. And let's see if my slides want to move. Oh, no, they don't. My PC is running so slow. Bree's now demanding at me because we've finished training and she doesn't think we should be finished. Oh, come on. Nothing ever goes right when you're live. This moved seamlessly when I did my practice run. Just have to wait until my computer decides that it wants to play. So is that being useful, guys? Because I think we're coming to the end now. It says Zoom on these ones, it only lets you have sort of like 40 minutes, so it has to just be a short one. So I hope you found it useful. Any comments, feedback, more than welcome. What was good? What was bad?
Right, I think can you hear me now?
I can.
All right, okay. Yeah, I've been trying just on a morning just to keep them, because I'm not taking them out on a morning now.
Mm-hmm.
Basically just the length of the yard, just doing wait and come sort of commands.
Yeah.
Which seems to work, but I'm still having to do it with the pair of them at the moment.
Yeah.
That's the tricky bit.
Yes, working two dogs.
Yeah, or trying to work one dog when the other dog isn't being worked, and one distracts the other and things like that.
Yeah. My slide still doesn't want to move. Oh, there we go. There we go. So to recap, being fun and interesting will help you bond with your dog. Brain games and playing will help tire your dog out. You need to think outside of the bowl, and short sessions a few times a day will work wonders. So like I said, being your dog's fun centre will help your dogs to want to stay with you and not bog off after other dogs and squirrels and deer and what have you. I mean, I wish I'd known all this kind of stuff back in the day when I had Brenna as a youngster. Mm-hmm. Because when I first got Brenna 11 years ago, she was already an adult, and she had a very well ingrained chase instinct and would bugger off after deer and stuff, like sometimes for hours. It was ridiculous, and I wish I'd known all this stuff and done a bit of this back then, but you live and learn. So has it been useful, guys?
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. It's good to see how you can build up, like, because they are very good at the touch.
Mm-hmm.
See how you can build that into something else.
Yeah, it's all just kind of foundation stuff where you can go and do more. And like sort of any kind of end behavior that you want, you just kind of do it in stages.
Definitely more chilled.
Yeah. Oh.
Is that you out of time?
No, I'm just putting the screen off just so I can.
So yeah, they're definitely more chilled, but I think the grown-ups, I think they do need a bit more stimulation.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're used to going out a lot more than they are at the moment, and like I say, the change of routine can cause some behaviour problems as well.
Yeah. Well, we're still trying to take them out at lunchtime and at tea time. Because we're doing it separately mainly.
Yeah.
But obviously they're still missing one in the morning. But it's just getting that routine of, like you say, trying to keep the routine a little bit, but try and keep them a bit stimulated. Because one of them, you know, Sky's really food orientated and Storm's more toy. So we are different anyway.
Getting the balance between them.
Yeah, doing it, because you're gonna have to do different things for, you know, for different for the different dogs. I'm surprised they're not the liney and they're not even picking up the ears when the dog's talking. I'm really surprised.
Yeah, Grace demanding at me, say, because usually we are chilled at this time of night, but because I've got the hot dogs out, she's like, oh yeah, I'll do some work. What can you do?
Give me more hot dogs.
Sorry, what was that, Lorraine?
I said, yeah, give me more hot dogs.
Oh yeah, she'd be well into
But definitely have a look at that scatter thing. I mean, the Kongs are great, but again, they eat the black ones, so we've got to be careful.
Yeah.
But they haven't really, they've got like the black Kong wheel, and they haven't destroyed that as much.
No, that seems to be blasted.
Yeah.
But they don't seem to have destroyed that. But they had like one of those balls you had, and that's gone.
Yeah.
But they did get it. But yeah, but we've got them another toy that like 3 cylinders, and they've got to swing it round and it drops out. And Storm loves that. Sky can't be bothered. Just chew it. I'll just have it. Just finding what each of them likes, really. Yeah.
It's just trial and error with them. I mean, even though yours are brothers, they're 2 completely different dogs, and you have to kind of work with them and, you know, what they like, because they're driven by different things.
You're getting the personality traits now, and I think you see a lot. They're very different.
Yeah.
Even the coats are different now because can't get the cut. They're very different.
They're generally starting to settle down. I think there's definite improvements in them most of the time.
Good. I mean, they're nearly 2.
Yeah, 2 in May.
Yeah.
But they're still table surfers, which is like a real bugbear.
Yeah.
I can imagine.
That's one of the naughty things to do, other than chewing stuff. Although touch wood, they're not chewing as much, but
no.
But yeah, but it's like you say, it's just getting that stimulation and getting the you know, the keeping that brain going.
Yeah, and like I say, everything that I've talked about, it's dead simple, but it's really good solid building blocks for doing more advanced things where it is more tricky, and it forces you to have to learn alongside them as well, which is really good, which is what I do whenever I decide to do something new with the girls. It's a lot of it is still really new to me, and I'm like, oh, let's do this together. But at this point in time when we're not doing as much and they're with me more doing these little things, it's kind of helps, and it helps me because it gives me structure to the day. You know, I've had some quite depressed days where I haven't wanted to do much because I just think, oh, what is going on, and I don't want to get off the sofa and stuff, but the dogs are looking at me going, well, we would like to do something. So it kind of forces you to get up and do something. I've just seen your question about fruit in Kongs. Anything really. Mine love apple, raspberries, blueberries, strawberries, banana. Just mush it all up, whiz it all up, and whack it in with some sort of natural yogurt, sort of the no added salt, sugar yogurt,
right.
You know.
Just an ordinary commercial human adult yogurt, yeah?
Yeah, just as long as it hasn't got like extra sugar and stuff in.
Right.
Yeah, mine love it in the summer. It's like I say, it's like a little it's like a little ice cream for them inside, and it just helps keep them cool and keeps them busy when they're lazing about and lying in the heat. But yeah, it's good for them.
Good.
I'll give it a try. We definitely need to get the Kongs back out. Actually, I think we need 2 new black Kongs, actually, because I think they destroyed the last 2.
Little tinkers.
We replaced them because we got the wheel, but I mean, when we go out somewhere, we've been teaching them when you can go out, when we go to a bar or something, we've been taking the wheels, in them, and get them to be excited with that while we have a drink or whatever.
Yeah.
And when they stayed at our friend's house, they did the same, and it worked. So they're not sitting barking or looking at you while you know.
Yeah.
So they do know what it's for. They know if that's there, or we've got this to sort of keep us going until we move off, type of thing.
Yeah.
So that's pretty good. So I definitely think we should maybe get a couple of Kongs, and while they're still delivering things.
Yes, I would get them in. I probably need more than I've got. I've got 1 each for them, but ideally I should have 1 more each for them so that I can rotate them and have maybe some in the freezer while I'm using.
Yeah.
I think especially now when it's uncertain when we will be allowed out and about again. But I think even like post coronavirus era, they've loved having their breakfast out of the Kongs and stuff. The only problem is it doesn't fit their whole breakfast in.
Right.
Not too bad at the moment. Obviously, my dogs are bigger than yours, so they will get fed a bit more. But it's not so bad at the moment because they're on a reduced diet anyway to stop them putting weight on. But obviously on normal times when they're getting out a bit more, they might need a bit more. But again, if you're taking them out and then you're scatter feeding as well, they're going to get their full ration anyway.
That's probably what we need to just keep an eye on, I think.
Yeah.
Especially for Sky.
Well, for the weight.
For the weight, yeah.
Yeah.
Because at one point he was a whole kilo more than Storm. Then he went less than him. Then he sort of crept up again. But because his hair is so different and it grows outwards, you can't actually tell as much, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
He looks massive at the minute, and I think he'll go worse as the hair grows, because his hair tends to go outwards as opposed to down.
Yeah.
So he just looks like massive. But, you know, I know last time we thought that, and when they got the haircuts, he came back and actually didn't look any different at all. He's just a little taller. So we'll just have to see. But yeah, I think with the food, we've just got to be careful we're not giving them that food and scattering and doing whatever. Yeah. And we're adding as opposed to taking, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's the thing you've got to watch. But I mean, there's no reason why they should put weight on if you are using their daily sort of amount of food.
Yeah, that's what we need to do. What we probably need to do there is just weigh it out ready for the next day. Whatever we do, like play or whatever with them, they need to then they can eat the rest, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's a good way to do it, and then it's not a wasted opportunity.
Yeah, great.
Lovely. Well, thank you for joining me, guys. I hope you got some use out of that. Now I've done my first one. I think I'm going to be a webinar maniac.
Excellent.
They're not too bad, you know. I mean, in the last 2 weeks, I'm now Facebook messaging me mum and dad, and they're up to that, so that's quite good now. I think everything's moving online, but this one, Zoom, seems quite simple once you get your head around it.
It is, yeah. I think if I can manage it, then anybody can.
Yeah. And Teams is the other one, isn't it?
Teams, yeah. Teams. That's good.
So,
good for posting stuff.
No, keep doing it because it's the only time we'll see you soon.
Right, yeah. Well, I'll let you go and enjoy your evening, guys. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you very much, Tam.
Right.